So I have some good news. We are going racing. Just not that kind of racing. So tonight I'm diving into a Zwift race. I'm a week and a half into my training plan, which isn't a huge amount of time. So I've done a week and a half since my FTP test. But I thought, well, what I can do is compare myself where I am now to where I was last year. Luckily enough, I used to Zwift Race a lot last year. I found a race in December that was exactly the same length and almost the same elevation as tonight. And I had a look at the stats. Something like this, just under or about 4 watts per kg for 20 minutes, 3.8 watts for the 25-26 minutes of the race. Tonight we're diving into a Zwift monthly event, which is almost exactly the same distance, like 18.5k, up on the Scotland map with, I think it's like 160, 180 meters of elevation, over 100 people taking part. It's gonna be tough, but it is a scratch race. So in some ways, we're at the mercy of how people decide to ride this. So here's my thing. This time last year, pushing 3.8 watts during a race, I would probably have said because I didn't have any more watts to give, because I didn't come first in that race by a long shot. So if I can get my 25-minute power up to 4 watts per kg, which would be about 312 watts, then we're in a good space. Let's dive on the bike. I am crazy in love with the pain cave at the moment for very obvious reasons. Just love it in here. A little trinket store over there with some good stash in there, some good Strava stash. Check this out. That's good Strava swag. Anyway, so tonight's race is 19k. I think it's going to take 25 to 26 minutes. There's over 100 people signed in for it. Zwift monthly events. I thought about doing the ZRL, the racing league, but the problem with ZRL is that it has the TT nights in it and points racing, which not only am I not particularly bothered by, just it's not also that relevant to me. The life of a very unprofessional athlete. A lot of people have told me that I need to get a TV in here. I'm just not sure I need a massive TV in a shed, but I am also a suckler for, just doing what I'm told. So we might be getting a massive TV in here. So we have an hour to the start line, so just enough time to nail a bit of pre-dinner, get a really good warm-up in, and then we'll figure out how this race is going to go down, because it's going to be fast one way or another, which is exactly what I need, but I also have to be a little bit sensible, or try and be sensible. Who knows what's going to happen? So here's the interesting thing about tonight's race being 25 minutes, and my goal being to stay over 4 watts per kg. Yes, in some senses, I am very much at the mercy of what the race does, because it's a scratch race. If there's a slow up, I'm not going to go off the front just to try and hold a higher wattage, because there are a few kickers in it, especially the finish. And this is the thing, is part of what I want to do this evening is be in a good position to finish strong. We'll see how that one plays out. Who knows what's going to happen. But the other thing is, last week, or a week and a half ago, FTP test, I did 318 watts average for 20 minutes. Today I'm trying to hold 310 watts for 25 minutes. And you might be thinking, well, that's reasonable, right? But this is racing, and there's a huge difference, because repeatability, the kicks, how hard you're kicking, these types of things start coming into play. You're not just finding a wattage and sitting at it. So this is going to give me a different indicator to last time when I did the 20-minute FTP test, because if people kick up the Clyde kicker really hard and we go around and do a few other kickers and push the watts, do I have the repeatability at this stage in my winter training to stay with a group or stay with a group? Let me give you the stats for the race. It's one loop, 18k, 167 meters with a feather and an aero. So it's basically flat with a couple of kickers, which is my point, is when there are kickers, people are going to use it to break up the group. And we have a couple of them. None of them will be long. They'll all be super short, but they're going to be punchy. So there are watts, and then there's application of watts. I think that's what we're doing tonight, is application of watts, because in theory, someone said, can I hold 310 for 25 minutes? I say, yeah, bet, done, hand me the money. And I go and hold 310 for 25 minutes. The problem is, can I average out 310 after 25 minutes of hard racing? Guess we're gonna find out, guys. See you on the other side. We have 53 people, 1 minute to go. This is gonna be a hard one. Let's get it up to 60, 30 seconds.
Right, welcome back to the Watt Life. We haven't done this in a while. I've missed it. It's been forever since I've done a proper Zwift racing video. So just a heads up, from now on, every week, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. in the UK GMT, we are going to be doing Zwift videos, Zwift racing, scratch race. It will always do the Zwift monthly event, so it'll be 7:10 on a Monday in the UK.
Let's get in a bunch.
Right, let's get into it, because this race, obviously, I've laid it out. I've laid out what the goal is for this race, but obviously I'm kind of at the mercy, or not, you know. The problem is that if I want to put down a certain wattage, like average out a certain wattage, I'm probably not just going to sit on the front of the race, like off the front, in the hope of upping my kind of watts, my average watts for the race. So my point being is, I'm a little bit at the mercy of how this race plays out, because I also want to obviously perform well in the race. If I didn't care about the race itself as a scratch race, then I'd just go off the front and try and hold a certain wattage, or just sit on the front basically, which wasn't the goal. So you'll see me sit in the pack. Here's something for you guys to pay attention to, which is top left hand corner. We obviously got the watts at the top. We have heart rate and kind of watts per kg. We also have average wattage. A little bit hard for you to see, but I'll kind of clue you in. The average wattage is obviously going to be the average wattage at that given point during the race. At the moment, we're at 280, right? 280, just about to come into the Clyde kicker for the first time. So 280 is what, like 3.7, 3.8 watts per kg. I need it to be 310, 310 for it to be 4 watts per kg for the 25, 26 minutes of this race. I was kind of paying attention to it, but not too much. And today we're chatting about watts and application of watts, two different things, which is, like I said, if someone said, can you hold 310 watts for 25 minutes? I'd probably say, bet, right, we're doing it. I can do that, no problem. And just sit at 310 watts for 25 minutes. But as you're seeing here, as we've just done the Clyde kicker, those little kicks where you put in 700-800 watts, maybe just to stay with the group or kind of push the pace a bit further forward, they wear you down. So repeatability comes into this a lot, and that's something that I think I have progressed no end in. And I'm not going to spoil this race and how it turns out, but boy, you want to stick around to the end just to see the finish of this, because like I think kind of, you know, for me, I'd say jaw was on the floor, but I was too busy like heavy breathing and dying, so my whole body was on the floor at the end of this, because it did hurt. So this route, obviously 18k. The climb that we're doing now, this gentle riser up this hill, this is basically the ride into the finish at the end of the lap. We're up in Scotland, so this little incline at the moment, so there's like a gentle little 2%. It kicks a little bit more. You can see us holding 270. We've now moved into like 350 watts. So we're holding like 350 coming up this, 300 watts. And I'm positioning reasonably well. I don't need to be off the front. I'm not worried about any moves, but you can see that as the gradient kind of creeps up a little bit, which will happen in a second, the watts creep up a little bit. I'm not sure if we drop anyone, because this is a pretty flat course, as we said, 18k with 167 meters of elevation. But you see guys kind of riding it hard, pushing off the front. I don't need to worry about that too much as we move into the 374. I just saw 400 just tick up there for a second. So you can see that this is going to be the finish line. The gradient is obviously on the screen. You can see it's kicking up. We're now at the 400 watt territory, sitting in the top 10 wheels. I know that when I come round and do this for a second time, that's going to be like, that's the party. That's when you're going to have to like bring your A game. So which is why I'm showing this to you now, because the next time we come up this, full afterburners, and you can see that it's quite a long stretch, like a drag, as we hit like 3-4%, kind of moving up. And I drop a feather. I also know that the finish line that we'll cross in a second is a banner to get another power up. So my positioning for that was quite good. I wanted to kind of see what the group was doing. It does bump up my average watts at the moment. We're now 294. So we're 3.9 watts after the however many 8 minutes that we've done of this race. And you'll see this is it. So then after you've done that little gentle riser, this is the flat section, and then you come into the finish banner. That'll effectively, that banner was the finish line the next time that we do that. So you can kind of see it's a long drag up, and then you got that kind of little sprint. It's going to hurt, and I knew it was going to hurt, and I knew that ultimately my average watts would push up. And it also kind of gave me an indication of like, don't go too hard off the front, because that finish line is going to cause havoc, that last like 2 minutes. But someone does send it, and then I decide, look, I'm just going to cause a bit of trouble, so I'll just kind of like semi go with him, and then I come off straight away. So I just kind of get a bit of separation from the group and then come off straight away in the hope that other people will just come straight over the top of me. So I hit this quite hard, and then I just let everyone come through, come over the top, hold the watts. So again, like a reasonable kick, drop a cheeky power up, and you can kind of see that guy going off the front brings the group through. You see on the bottom, the power chart, we dropped a few watts. Repeatability, right? So if you don't have repeatability, people call it matches. I don't like calling it matches, but that would easily be a match if you don't have repeatability, or even if you do, you just have more. You have more matches. But for me, I didn't find that too hard, and I knew in this next climb, I knew that the power would come off. We wouldn't hit this one as hard on the basis of like how hard we hit that last one, and that's exactly what happened. We went up it quite strong, just not too hard. Always trying to stay like top 10, 15 wheels, just in case something happened and a few people went off the front. Always trying to let the 5-6 riders in front of me do the work, kind of sitting there, which felt comfortable. And I'll be honest with you, I'm pat on the back. Like I feel like my training, the last 12 months of work have put me in such a better position than 12 months ago. I mean, that's kind of like an obvious thing to say, but it really has. Like, I feel like a bit of a different rider. I feel more capable. I can make strategic decisions based on ability rather than just trying to hold on. And yeah, like it kind of plays out. So we're basically coming into the Glasgow crit circuit. We're going to do one loop of the Glasgow crit circuit, and then we're going to head out and do that last incline up the hill, and you'll see the burners come on. Coming through this crit circuit, nothing to really worry about. I think we drop a few people. If you look in the top right hand corner, a few riders come off, but not too many as we go over those kickers. So these kickers have all been like pretty short and sharp. And then so we've just got this second attempt at the drag up to the finish line that's going to be like hard, 2 minutes? Like 90 seconds? And I've got myself an aero boost, and this I am like kind of proud / like impressed with the way that this plays out for me. This was, I think I registered on Strava like my second best ever, like 2 minute power, something like that. So we're pulling out good numbers. Again, as I mentioned or have mentioned in other videos, I've started weight training. It's become part of my routine. I'm trying to stick with it twice a week. Nothing too heavy just yet. Might build in a bit more weight, but story for another time. Right, my goal here, as we sit at 295 average watts now, so we're not near 4 watts per kg for the 20 minutes, we're not, well, the 22 minutes, we're not near 4 watts per kg as an average for the remainder of this race, which is another 4 minutes. So for me to get this up to 4 watts per kg, this end has to go hard, and I knew it would. And the watts, as soon as the watts come on, they don't come off, and you'll see exactly what happens. One guy punches off the front, which is fine. I wasn't too worried about it. I mean, I was worried about it. Like, I was like, do I go with him? Do I not go with him? I was kind of, so which is why I kind of then moved to the front of the group. I was like, well, we need to pull this back, like pull this up. So we all put the watts on, and here we go. Pay attention. Heart rate as well. Heart rate was bang on tonight. I hit like 182 is a peak, and that's the second highest heart rate I've ever held. So I'm doing my easy riding nice and easy. I'm doing my hard riding nice and hard. I feel good. Like, I can't explain it. I'm also crushing the creatine, guys. Like, crushing it twice a day. Once in my coffee in the morning, once in my shake in the evening. I'm now sat on the front of the race pushing 400 odd watts. I think I averaged like something like 450 for like 2 minutes here. So this is where it comes in. Here comes the gradient. Gradient starts popping, 2%, 3%. A little bit of a kick up, guys using their power ups. Power comes on. And I'm like, okay, this is hurting now. 470, 450, 470, 480, 490, 500 watts. Like, guys are moving. Are we chasing down that guy that's on the front? Yeah, I guess we are. Like, are people going now? Yeah, I guess we are. Do I have to go with it? Yes, I do. So I am just like putting it down, 500 plus watts, holding it down, 176 heart rate, which is high for me, high as we come to the top of this hill. I get this a little bit wrong because I'm on the Zwift bike. I haven't done any sprints on it. Keep hitting the wrong button, so it's basically shifting my gears instead of using my power up. So I'm over geared for the sprint by the end of it. Like, kind of goes a bit wrong for me. I think I could have got maybe an extra place if I managed to do that correctly. Whack in the power, jump out the saddle a little bit, give whatever I can for the rest of this. I reckon if I'd hit my gears correctly, I'd be second place. But I'm super happy with a 4th place and achieving my goal. 4.1 for 20, 4 for the 26.
4th, baby. That was a good ride. Hell of a ride. Let me give you a little debrief as I warm down. That was super hard. That was great. You hopefully see what I mean by watts and application of watts. That race fell perfectly into my watts and application of watts. Never went too far into the red during the bulk of the race. That uphill finish, super hard, and I was hitting all sorts of wrong buttons on the Zwift bike, changing up gear instead of using power up. Might have changed something, but not much. Whatever. Super happy with 4th place in a, what was it, like 510 to 670 category. My racing score is like 540. That should bump it up a bit. My kick is like 80 something percent. Hopefully that will kick that up a bit. The thing that I'm proud of was that finish up the ramp, because that was watts and sustained watts. But again, it was like just about in my wheelhouse. And then I wouldn't have even hit 1,000 watts. I think I saw like 750 when we started to go for it, but damn, that was good. Great for the end of week 2, like good morale, confidence builder. 4th, let's go. Right guys, thanks for joining in. See you on another one soon.